Part 67. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 661. I'm jealous. Xiao Chang'an and the others have made such a big gain, we can't lose to them. That's right, we must find the most suitable items to quickly increase our strength. The other members of the Xiao organization were also inspired by Xiao Chang'an's gains, and they all got excited. They were traveling faster in this dungeon. At this moment, other members also had harvest. The voice of the prodigal sword echoed in the communication equipment, and he couldn't help but laugh. Ha ha ha, I also found a particularly good place. There are really enough items produced here. Damn it, this ancient mythological ruin actually produces a magic sword that can combine swordsmanship with magic. This is simply an artifact given to me by God. Brothers, I won't say any more, I'm going to start to understand the magic runes contained in this holy sword. When the sound of prodigal son sword echoed in everyone's ears, everyone felt even more envious. Everyone knows that this guy, prodigal son sword, is born to like swords. Don't look at this guy hanging magic, YYDS all day long on the lips. He lamented that when he learned swordsmanship before, he might as well just use magic to kill the opponent. But this guy's love for swordsmanship and his pursuit from the heart made Dugu Kyubi negotiate with him. They are all ashamed. This is the true heart of the sword. This is the true unity of man and sword. This is the outstanding successor of swordsmanship who can truly possess the posture of a sword god. However, something that everyone never expected: is it true that in addition to magic, there are also objects related to kendo in this ancient country? This all shows that this ancient country once had a glorious civilization that encompassed everything. Even kendo also had attainments. It is unimaginable that in such a world, in a place full of mythical items, what kind of state will the inheritance of swordsmanship reach? You must know that everyone in the Xiao organization has also swallowed the sword god template fruit produced by Lu Shu. Naturally, I also have some understanding of the way of swordsmanship. Now, the prodigal sword has obtained such a good output item. It is really enviable. Soon, other teams also received good news. In the process of exploring the dungeon, everyone can gain something. It's just that the size of the harvest is different. Not all stores have a guard system of the same size as the magic material shop. The magic material shop is already a relatively large shopping mall. If it is on the roadside in ordinary shops, the danger of exploring is much smaller. But the corresponding harvest can only be said to be not that great. Of course, it is not impossible for people like Xiao Chang'an to be able to explore extraordinary benefits, it is just relatively rare. Once if you encounter it, you will undoubtedly have great luck. It can increase your strength. Some rare shops can also produce unexpected items and enhance other abilities. On the other side of the commercial street, Anil and Bayu, lead together, follow the team and form the same team to explore forward. Hateful. These guys have already gained so much. We didn't catch anything. What bad luck. NLE said with a sad face and couldn't help but look melancholy. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 662. Bayu smiled and said, "Don't worry, there is a time in life, and there is no time in life. Don't force it. Their pace is just faster than us, but I think we will always get something. Calm down, click to continue exploring." Alright. Anil had nothing to do. He could only watch his teammates take off one by one, drooling with envy. However, he gained nothing. At this moment, Bayu's eyes lit up slightly and said, "Look, there is a grocery store ahead. I can see with my white eyes that there seems to be some magic fluctuations inside. There might be some good stuff." Anil looked towards Bayu's gaze and saw a shabby shop across the front. He glanced at it and saw that there was nothing inside, and his desire to explore was instantly reduced by half. It didn't look like that. Is there any good stuff here? However, since Bayou said that there are magic fluctuations inside, it's better to go and take a look. Under the leadership of the two people, the team immediately walked towards the store. In the store, most of them they are all the damage caused by fractures. Many dusty magic items have been reduced to dust after years of erosion. This doesn't look like anything good. An LE showed a disappointed look and kicked the ruins casually. At this moment, a simple parchment scroll was revealed in front of an LE, and a weak magic wave bloomed. This is the source of the magic fluctuations I saw. I didn't expect to be here. Bayou showed a surprised look, then squatted down and picked up the parchment. Because the magic fluctuations here were too strong, the white eyes sometimes failed. However, Annals kicked the sheepskin scroll that came out caught Bayou's attention, and she judged that it was such an item, attracting her to explore the store. Hey, it seems to be true. I wonder what secrets are contained in this parchment. Annal showed curious eyes and stared at the parchment. Using his own magic power, he felt that this parchment did indeed contain considerable magic power fluctuations. He couldn't wait to open it and take a look. Explore it. After such a long time, nothing was found, and finally I found a parchment. It was like a traveler in the desert who, after being thirsty for a long time, suddenly saw a half bottle of mineral water in front of him. Although it was just it's only half a bottle of mineral water, and it doesn't taste very satisfying, but at least I have water. I won't die of thirst. Well, I sensed that there were no dangerous magic fluctuations in this parchment, and there were no dangerous magic fluctuations in this parchment, nor was there any dark magic power as Dumble mentioned, so there should be no problem. Bayou used her white eyes again and observed carefully. After confirming that this kind of parchment was safe, she took a deep breath. With a solemn expression on her face, she slowly opened the parchment and peeked inside. Secret. The next second, a dense and complex map, annotated with ancient and profound words, appeared in front of the world. It seemed to completely present the entire picture of a magnificent country. Bayou's eyes moved for an instant, and he murmured road. Could it be a complete map of this country? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 663. Now. This map shows the entire Dharma God's legacy. Annal immediately showed a surprised expression, looked at the map and said, "Hey, if we have a map of the Dharma God's ruins, wouldn't we know some places, probably very important places?" Bayou nodded, her eyes also showed joy and said, "That's right. With this map, we will not just wander around randomly in this Dharma God ruins, but can explore in an orderly manner and formulate a specific planned route. After all, in such a dangerous place, if you walk around at will, the efficiency will be low. Needless to say, some unexpected mechanisms may be triggered. At that time, there is a high risk of the group being wiped out. With this map, it will be much easier." Annal smiled and said, "This time, our harvest is extremely impressive." Bayou nodded, with a happy face on his face, and smiled. "We can completely use the information on this map to trade with them to enhance our own strength." When these guys spread out to explore, they agreed that all the items they found would belong to each other. Only in collective actions, resources need to be allocated. So, I saw that Xiao Chang'an, Longzijian, and others all obtained it. So many benefits. Annal is naturally unwilling to be lonely. This map, not to mention for themselves, plays a vital role for the entire team. As long as this map is released. So, the teams of Annal and Bayou have contributed so much, so naturally they should receive a lot of items. Soon, a communication echoed in everyone's thoughts and consciousness. Everyone, we have discovered something very important, the map of the empire. Moreover, this map is extremely complete and has many good places marked on it. Do you want to watch it? As soon as he finished speaking, other members of the Akatsuki organization began to greet each other. Damn it, you actually discovered this map of the empire. I have never gotten such precious information in a magic material store. The degree of completeness is still very high. How high is it? Hurry up and share it with us. At this moment, the entire screen is filled with other teams at end. However, faced with this situation, Baiyu was not in a hurry and said, you have to look at the map we found. Then, shouldn't we consider the harvest? Luang Zijian said with a smile, oh, Sister Baiyu, who is our relationship? It's just a map. You can find it at any time. What's the point of sharing it? This is the team's resource. Anil put his hands on his hips and sneered, okay, I found the resource before. Didn't you take us to play? Now you want to ask for a map for nothing? Huh. In this kind of map, there is the location of the magic library. If we get there, we will directly gain the magical understanding of the magic god level. If we don't want to, Sister Baiyu and I will go over first. Xiao Chang'an laughed and said, okay, this is all a joke, so we will give you 20% of the harvest. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 664. Xiao Chang'an's decision can be said to be reasonable and reasonable. After all, the map Baiyu found was not only correct in terms of completeness and information, but also very detailed. Even the permission levels of different locations are marked. So, the value of this map is naturally self-evident. As long as there is a map, everyone does not need to act separately again, but can gather together to attack important places. Although there are indeed gains from exploring these small shops, compared with large-scale exploration, it is really far behind. I don't know how many small shops need to be explored before the harvest can be fully explored. For example, large places like the magic materials shop will come even faster. Soon. The members of the Akatsuki organization opened the trading panel one after another and transferred 20% of the gains from this dungeon exploration. After all, considering that the personal exploration has come to an end, the next plan for everyone is of course to gather together based on this map, formulate corresponding plans, and carry out strategies according to the route. If they no longer split up, it means Anil and Baiyu it is no longer possible to obtain more items through personal exploration. In this way, Xiao organized everyone to divide 20% of the exploration objects, which can be regarded as recognition of Anil and Baiyu's contribution to this copy. Opening the transaction panel, I received a lot of items. Anil's face was filled with joy, and he smiled and showed his cute tiger teeth, and said, "Gee, it's better to make a major one-time contribution. It's great to get so many treasures at once." Baiyu shook her head and said with a smile, "You are really a little money addict," and Le smiled playfully and said confidently, "Of course, how can it be possible that they are the only ones getting a lot of benefits, and we can only watch others counting money from behind?" Hey, luckily Sister Baiyu has a pair of discerning eyes and saw in advance that this small shop with an unassuming appearance actually contains such an important treasure to us. Otherwise, we will really miss the opportunity this time and lose such a good treasure. Bye. You rolled her eyes and said, "Just now, who said that this shop looked so poor and might not have anything good?" Anil seemed to have been struck by something. His expression suddenly froze. He scratched the back of his head in embarrassment and made an excuse with a guilty conscience. "Hey, I was just talking nonsense. In fact, it was to inspire Sister Baiyu to explore the baby's potential." Baiyu couldn't help but be speechless. The word encouragement is so wonderfully used. It can only be described as face. However, the people in the Xiao organization are already very familiar with each other, and they seem to be a bit yin and yang. In fact, it was the product of familiarity. Soon, everyone gathered again. At this time, they had arrived at the ruins of the God of Law, in the center of a wide semicircular square. They had also arrived at the hinterland of the kingdom of God. Xiao Chang'an he looked around the field, confirmed and counted the number of people, and then said loudly, "Everyone has almost arrived. Now, you all should have accepted the map uploaded by Baiyu with your thoughts, right?" Everyone nodded immediately. Xiao Chang'an then said, "So, do you have any ideas about the next plan?" Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 665. As soon as the statement came out, everyone immediately frowned and fell into deep thought. That's right. With this magic map, everyone here already knows the complete picture of this Dharma God ruins. Naturally, there is no need to wander around aimlessly looking for opportunities nearby as before. In this way, the strategy route becomes extremely important. If you want to complete the dungeon guide reasonably, you need to find the most suitable route, which not only satisfies everyone's current level, but also can quickly improve their strength. Baiyu's thoughts moved slightly. She was the first to get this map, and then said, "I think it is necessary to get this magic library. As we all know, there must be a lot of information inside the magic library. Not only does it include books to improve the understanding of magic, but it is also possible to find a lot of history and information about this ruins to help us better find all the resources and ruins to understand this ruins, and what needs to be paid attention to, and where is the strategy suitable for us. We can also use it to avoid lightning. At our current stage, many of us rely on the fruits given to us by the president, as well as the items produced by the dungeon, which instantly increase the magic power. However, in terms of understanding magic, there is still a big gap compared to a strong man like Dumble. If we can supplement the knowledge of magic understanding, then there is a great chance that the strength of all the people can be improved to a state close to the magic god. It is even possible that Deng Buletin will get the opportunity to become the next Dharma god. No matter what, after we have obtained enough information, conquering the magic library is a sure profit choice." Baiyu's words fell in everyone's ears, and everyone felt that they made sense. The magic library sounds like there are a lot of good things. But if we really want to conquer the magic library, will our current strength be enough? What if the enemies in this magic library are extremely powerful and we can't deal with them? At this time, some members of the Dark Knight Alliance raised their doubts. This question is also valuable. The higher the output, the greater the price. If the magic library really has so many, it is definitely not that easy to capture the good things. This matter requires an extremely vigilant attitude. Baiyu pondered for a moment, and then said, "From the map, I saw this ruins, there are 4 libraries in total. Let's start with the outermost library first. Judging from the current exploration, the closer to the outside of the ruins, the smaller the risk factor. The closer you get to the central area of the ruins, the greater the danger. So, we can start with the outermost library and improve our understanding of magic step by step. Then, we will deepen our understanding of the ruins of this copy, and then proceed to the strategy. Everyone, there should be no problem with this decision. Baiyu's analysis is quite reasonable." Everyone also nodded, thinking that this plan is feasible. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 666. As soon as this statement came out, everyone expressed their overwhelming agreement. They all couldn't help but sigh as expected of Baiyu's plan, it is indeed feasible. If you go directly to the copy center, the existing library, the risk is of course very high. After all, that's the center. Although the location explored by Bayou and others has been moving closer to the center of the copy, it is still in the corner. This business district is only a certain distance away from the edge of this country, and the difficulty has increased so much. According to the various intelligence obtained from the Divine Tree Master Guide dungeon, it is common knowledge in this world that the closer you are to the center of the dungeon, the stronger the monsters, the higher the level of the items produced, and the higher the risk factor. Therefore, Bayou and others did not immediately choose to go deep into the dungeon so boldly. Instead, they gathered around the edge areas to maximize the benefits they could obtain, and then made other plans. Soon, after a period of movement, everyone in the Xiao organization left. After entering this commercial area, I chose to head towards the library for the time being to explore. The relatively large place marked in this commercial area is basically the materials wholesale mall. There were others larger than this, but they all collapsed into the ruins and turned into ruins. And most of the treasures in this commercial area are various gemstones used for inlays, as well as a few magic crystals. Nowadays, the magic crystal has reached a bottleneck period for everyone's strength improvement, unless they obtain the magic crystal of the magic god level again, but considering that everyone already has one in their hands, there is not such a lack of such resources. The top priority is to improve your magic understanding as soon as possible, which can play a transformative role in the overall strength growth of the entire team. Come up, everyone. As the hands of the prodigal sword transformed, sword formations once again leaped out from his palms. Everyone stepped onto the sword formations and flew away instantly, like streams of light, traveling through this ancient country. Books. The location of the museum is not very far from this area, and there are many places that members of the Akatsuki organization have explored before. So, just go back in the direction you came from. In this way, you don't have to worry about the road. There may be unknown risks. After all, this road has been traveled once. About half a day later, the prodigal sword controlled the sword array and slowly landed next to a tower. If the location on the map is correct, this tower should be the public library of the Dharmagod ruins. Set up next to the village of Stville, it is a public library, and it is usually set up as a place used by pilgrims. Strictly speaking, this is not a library, but fortunately there are still some books and classics. Besides, this place, from the outside, is still intact. It seems to have received some kind of blessing, so it was not destroyed and turned into ruins. It also means that we can get some unexpected gains in it. So, let's go now. Xiao Chang'an stared at the tower, judged the situation in front of him based on the knowledge in his mind, then turned around, faced the members of the team, and said slowly: "Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning." Author, Immortal. Chapter 667. Immediately afterwards, everyone in the Akatsuki organization began to move quickly towards the location of the magic library. The majestic tower stood directly in front of everyone, with the radiance of magical mysteries surging. A layer of faint golden barrier guards the surroundings of the tower, as if to prohibit irrelevant people from entering this place. When Denbu came in front of everyone, his eyes glowed with a gleam of mystery. His eyes grasped the wisdom of magic. Even if he didn't know the origin of the barrier in front of him, these eyes could already discern the arrangement of the mysteries. Therefore, with just one glance, the great magician could learn key information. And use his eyes to deduce the composition of this magic circle to determine what the situation is like now. Dengbu Ledin stared at the magic circle and slowly said, "Everyone, this magic circle is restricted by the magic library. With this restriction, if all of us want to enter, we must go through the restriction. According to my inference, only the indigenous people of this country who are recognized by God can pass through this barrier. This barrier is a mechanism of magical mystery, and it has the favor of a god that is close to the level of a Dharma god. If you have not reached the realm of a Dharma god, it may be difficult to completely blow away this barrier. As soon as these words came out, everyone in the Xiao organization immediately showed solemn eyes and stared at the barrier. Liang Zijian scratched his hair and said a little depressed, I didn't expect that. We haven't entered the magic library yet, and we are here. Encountered such a troublesome problem. Dharma God level. This level of attack power is not something we can use at will now. Is there any other way to deal with this magic circle? Everyone also realized that if forcefully breaking through the barrier requires magic God level power, it would be too early to pull out the trump card. Or, release the walnut wand in Denbu's hand and activate magic God level power. Through this there is a threshold. But in this way, the power of the magic god stored in Denbu's wand is an extremely critical trump card. If you use it at the first level, it will be too fast. If you encounter a bigger one later, the problem is, without this trump card, we may encounter more dangerous things. But, what if we gather the power of everyone and display a magic circle at the level of a magic god? It's not good. With what everyone in the Xiao organization currently has at the realm level, just releasing a magic circle at the magic god level will use up almost all the power. Even if the magic realm is improved to a certain extent by absorbing the magic power in the magic crystal, it is the same. After all, when you reach the realm of the Dharma god, you have completely undergone a qualitative change. You are no longer an ordinary person. The magic energy that needs to be released naturally far exceeds everyone's expectations and reaches an extremely terrifying level. If you have not reached the Dharma God realm, you are no longer an ordinary person. A god, or someone who is infinitely close to the realm of a Dharma god, rashly using magic of such a realm. Muyang doubts that all the magic power of everyone in the Xiao organization will be consumed in an instant. At that time, if they encounter other monsters, or even bigger, the danger will still be very troublesome. It seems we have to find a way. Everyone's minds were agitated and they began to think about how to deal with it. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 668. At this time, Bai Yu suddenly stood up from the team. Those white eyes seemed to see through the essence of all things, and their gaze fell on the magic barrier filled with mysterious runes. Suddenly, her eyes reflected magical secrets. All the arrangements fell into Bai Yu's eyes, as if presented in the most original way. After a while, Bai Yu seemed to have discovered something. Her flawless face revealed a smile, just like the snow lotus blooming on the top of the snow mountain, melting everything in an instant. Everyone. Bai Yu said, in this formation, I can see that the runes inside are in order. Everyone's eyes immediately fell on Bai Yu. They all knew that although this white-haired girl looked young, she was actually a core member of Fenjian Guild. In addition to the gifts given by Lu Shu, in addition to the fruit, the white eyes she possesses can see through all things. It is a weapon for conquering any dungeon. In terms of intelligence, she is almost full of points. Whenever they encounter a problem, everyone is actually waiting for Bai Yu to speak. As long as she speaks, there is a high probability that she will find a way to break through the dungeon. Then, Bai Yu opened her eyes, scanned the barrier composed of magical mysteries, and slowly said, these runes, and the magical mysteries of this world, are all connected to one place and integrated into one. If we want to pass, these runes will pass through our body for authentication. If the mechanism of these runes discovers that we are outsiders and have not been favored by the gods here, then, this barrier will bounce us away and we will be deemed unable to pass here. The attack power that this barrier can withstand has reached the level of a magic god, and it is quite difficult to break through with external force. However, thanks to the mechanism of this barrier, We don't need to choose to break through with brute force, but use skill to successfully overcome this level. After Bayu said these words, everyone's curiosity was immediately aroused. Long Zijian couldn't wait to ask Miss Bayu, what is this method you mentioned? It doesn't need to break the barrier, and then can you pass this level? Everyone is also extremely curious about this question. Logically speaking, if this barrier can really resist the attack power of the Dharma God level, generally speaking, the barrier must be broken directly to pass. But in this way, for Xiao it is too difficult to organize everyone to reach the corresponding realm. It is as difficult as climbing to the sky. After all, this is a Dharma God level barrier. Without using Dharma God level attack power, even for someone of the level of Dumbledore it is not easy for a magician to solve this barrier. Then Bayu smiled and said, actually, the method is very simple. My eyes have already seen that this barrier is related to this place. Magical mysteries connected. In this way, if we are also connected to the mysteries of magic and have the same characteristics and attributes, then, there is more than 80% chance that this barrier will treat us as one of its own. We only need to connect ourselves with this mystery, even for such a brief moment, it is enough to pass this barrier. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting Trees for All, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 669. When Bayu said this, everyone also reacted. It turns out, Bayu has actually discovered the sequence of magic secrets here? This is an extremely surprising thing. Xiao Chang'an's eyes lit up and he couldn't help but said, Bayu, can you see the order of these secret runes now? Bayu smiled, nodded, and said, yes, since my magic secrets have reached after gaining demigod level strength, Byakugan seems to have undergone unexpected changes. Originally, when these mystical runes fell into my eyes, although they could present essential pictures, I could not understand what these pictures actually meant. But now, I can 100% understand everything I see, and even understand the rules. This is all due to the improvement of strength. Everyone couldn't help but nodded when they heard this explanation. Unexpectedly, the improvement in magic strength could have such wonderful effects. It was completely beyond everyone's expectations. Ha ha ha, fortunately we have Bayu. If we can see the order, then it should be no problem to reproduce it, right? That's right, the certification of this god, to put it bluntly, is to see if there are similar mystical runes on the entrance body. As long as we know the composition principles of these arcane runes, we can completely copy them. In this way, after the copying is completed, when we pass through the barrier again, relying on this mechanism, we will be considered to be one of them, so we can pass. As expected of Bayu. It's really extraordinary. I really love this power, it's so useful. At this moment, everyone looked at Bayu with eyes full of admiration. They simply couldn't imagine that such a big difficulty could be solved so easily. Thanks to such an outstanding member as Bayu. Otherwise, this time the level may not be able to be passed so easily. At this moment, Bayu looked at Deng Buletin and said respectfully, although I can see these secrets, the order of arrangement of the runes, but we still need to ask Mr. Dumble to copy these mysteries. After all, my magical attainments are not particularly pure, so I cannot 100% reproduce these mysteries. The mysteries of this place have reached the level of a magic god. Even if I know the principles, it is still very difficult to achieve all this with my own magical realm. Deng Buletin smiled when he heard this and said, Miss Bayu, don't worry, just leave this kind of matter to me. Then, the vision of the white eyes was passed to Den Bu. As long as the relevant information is known, it will be much easier for Den Bu, who has an understanding close to the attainments of a magic god. Holding a walnut wand. Denbu began use magic to inject a trace of magic mystery into everyone's body. Soon, everyone has the same magical aura as this barrier. It's as if they are a member of this place. I'll try it first. Liang Zijian's face was full of excitement and he walked directly to the front of the team. Then, he walked towards the light curtain. At this moment, the light curtain burst out with a bright light. The certification was successful. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 670. Chapter 670. Success. It actually passed the certification. Ha 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 ha, this method is indeed useful. We can enter the magic library and conduct a wave of exploration. Once we have passed this most difficult threshold, we don't need to worry anymore about what happens next. Go. Attack the magic library. Everyone in the Xiao organization saw the scene in front of them, and their hearts suddenly became extremely excited. They all looked at Bai Yu and Deng Buletin with extremely admiring eyes, and felt once again for this success. Extremely proud. No need for extra abilities, no need to use magic god level power. Just need to break the structure of magic, and then crack it from the root. It turns out that these things can be solved so easily. Saved everyone, what a trump card. And, after breaking through the magic barrier and entering the library this time, everyone's self-confidence has also increased. This means that their level of magic understanding is not too far from the level of this copy. This is a gratifying thing. Then, everyone in the Akatsuki organization crossed this barrier, and there was a buzzing sound around them. After the magic circle conducted authentication, it was found that everyone in the Akatsuki organization did indeed meet their identities. Naturally, it was released perfectly. Everyone can enter the library, without exception. Baiyu, thank you. As expected of Dumble, with a magical understanding close to the level of a magic god, he directly dissected the secrets of these runes. Very good. Our operation went much smoother than expected, and this is also thanks to every member here. After hearing what everyone in the Akatsuki organization said, the core members of the Dark Knight Alliance, Xin Chen Pavilion, etc. felt a little embarrassed. They felt that they were just here to make soy sauce, and they didn't seem to do much, but instead got a lot of money from behind. The benefits. It's a bit unreasonable. But fortunately, these big guys are still willing to take them. Now, after absorbing the magic crystal, many people's magic power has risen to the realm of Dharma saints. By gathering their power, they can also independently block one side. This is something that everyone is happy about. Alright. That being the case, let's enter the library now. However, we must be extremely careful because the enemies inside may be much stronger than we expected. We must continue to move forward with extreme caution and caution. Everyone, keep our previous formation and explore as planned. Xiao Chang'an once again showed his potential as a leader and began to direct everyone, moving deeper into the dungeon. Everyone's figures came to the front of the library one after another. At this moment, a magic door appeared in front of the library. In front of everyone. This door is filled with a very powerful mystical light, and it seems to contain spiritual wisdom inside. Bai Yu's eyes showed surprise. She observed the door with her white eyes and saw the mystery inside. At this moment, a voice echoed in everyone's ears, saying, "If you want to pass through this door, you must accept magic certification. Only after you pass the test can you enter. Who among you is going to come up first to accept this king's test?"